All right, this is a brief overview of applications of percent. So we're gonna start out initially with defining what a percent is. And basically what percent means is it's out of 100 or for each 100 or in 100. So the key is you always, you're gonna be dividing whatever percent they give you by 100 to convert. So like these first couple examples, we want to convert 14% to a decimal. So all we do is take 14, you drop that percent sign, you divide by 100, okay? All right, that's 0.14. All right, now you can also move the decimal place 2 spaces to the left. That's the same exact thing. All right, 5%. Now think about money. 5 pennies out of 100 pennies. And you ask yourself, how much money is that? That's 5 cents. So that's 0.05. Do the same thing with 100. You can do 100. Now you can use a fraction bar if you like. Divide it by 100. You say, well, how many or how much money is 100 pennies? That's $1. All right, so 1. To take fourth example, 103%. Again, that's 103 pennies, so that's $1.03. Okay, so 103 divided by 100, 1.03. So that's how you convert a percent to a decimal. You simply divide by 100. All right, now we're going to go the opposite direction. We're converting decimals to a percent. So all we're going to do in this case is we're going to multiply by 100. Multiply everything by 100. All right, now in your homework, pay special note to the number of decimal places that they require. Some may say the nearest 10th, some may say the nearest 100th, some may say the nearest 1,000th. And I'll put some notes over here in a minute, just as reminders. So 0.62 times 100, that's 62%. 0.07 times 100, or 7 cents, that's 7%. All right, that's 80 cents, or 0.8, that's 80%. Now notice percent is just shorthand. 16, or 0.166, that's 16.6%. 1.54, all right, that's $1.54, or 154%. All right, and let's add some notes here. So let's put on the side. They say 10th, 1 decimal place. 100th, 2 decimal places. And then thousandths, 3 decimal places, so on and so forth. All right. But typically those are the 2 you'll see in homework. So just make sure you're rounding correctly and you answer the question according to the directions. All right, so now we're going to go from percents to fractions. All right, so all we do in this case, remember, percent is out of every 100. So 15 out of 100. You always simplify it. All right, 5's the least common multiple, or greatest common multiple, so this be 3 out of 20. All right, 7 out of 100. 7's a prime number, so don't have to simplify any further. right, so those simplified fractions. 130%, that's 130 out of 100, which is 13 over 10. Now, that's an improper fraction, which simply means that the numerator is larger than your denominator, all right? But depending on if you're using technology, you can end up with an answer that says 1 3/10, all right? But typically, if they say they want a fraction, they're talking improper or proper fractions, no mixed numbers. All right, now we're going to go from a fraction to a percent. Now, notice, when you're going from a percent to a fraction, percent to a decimal, you divide by 100. And then if you're going from a decimal to a percent or a fraction to a percent, all you do is multiply by 100. And then just simplify your answers if need be. All right, 7/8 times 100. I know that's 87.5%. Now you can take your calculators and you can end up with 700 over 8. Divide it out, you're gonna get 87.5. 3/5 times 100. All right, that's 300 over 5, which is 60%. All right, 5 over 100 times 100. 100s cancel, so this is 5%, which makes sense because this is 5 out of 100, which is 5 cents. 5 cents is the same thing as 5%. And then we have 3 out of 20 times 100. That's 3 times 100, which is 300, divided by 20, which is 15%. And that is how you convert percents to decimals, decimals to percents, percents to fractions, and fractions to percents. Now what we're going to do, we're going to move into some applications. Now this is just another way of representing percent. Percent, now you've got two formulas, right? But you've got to understand what the formulas mean. Percent is equal to the part over the whole. All right, just think about money. If I've got 20 cents, right, that means I have 20 cents out of 100 cents, all right? So the part is the 20. It could be 2 dimes, 4 nickels, 20 pennies. It doesn't make a difference, but it's out of 100. We need 100 cents to make that dollar. All right, so you've got two formulas. And what you want to do when you solve word problems, because that's what we're about to step into, is you want to identify which one of the formulas that you need to use, and then you apply it correctly. So don't get caught trying to just remember the formulas, because you can use the wrong formula. All right, so let's jump into this word problem. All right, we have, and don't get overwhelmed by the question. Just find your part, find your whole, find your percent. And if whatever you don't have, that's what you're looking for. So you use the formula based on what you're trying to find. So we've got 75 customers at Billy's gas station on a particular morning. 32% use a credit card to make purchases. And it says how many customers use credit cards this morning at Billy's. All right, so word problems. Always identify. Got 75 customers. I've got 32%. And I'm looking for how many customers used credit cards. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do these word problems. We're going to say part, whole, and then percent. All right, because those are only 3 variables, I guess you would say, that the formula has. And I'm going to go back one page. Now notice you've got percent, part, whole, part, percent, whole, okay? So now let's look at this problem. 75 customers, that's total, so that's a whole. So that's 75 customers. The part, we don't know. We want to know how many of those customers use credit cards? So we're gonna say that's an unknown, all right? We use variables or words for unknowns. Percent, they told us 32%. All right, so now we've got everything's identified. We're looking for a part, so let's go back one page one more time. So we're looking for a part, which means we're gonna use the second formula, okay? So we know that part equals percent, and I'm gonna use shorthand, times the whole. All right, so our percent in this case is 32%. The total number of customers was 75. Then we're gonna take a calculator or use, and you say 32%, all right, or 0.32. So if your calculator has a percent sign, use it. If it doesn't, just go 0.32 times 75, which is 24 customers used credit cards. Now, and I'm gonna show you another way to write this. If your calculator doesn't have a percent sign, you know how to convert. That's why we did all that preliminary work. So you could take 0.32, all right, times 75, and you're gonna end up with the exact same answer. And that is how you apply percents to real world situations.